It's a start, his voice cracked. I saw no threat in this man, but perhaps it was because I saw so much of Colt in him. It was almost like seeing Colt in the future. This man had the exact same body type and mannerisms. Colt later said it was like looking in a mirror, and he was right. Both too astonished to get out words, the man looked to me as I steered my eyes to the floor. "And you, my dear, who are you?" "I am." Colt stopped me by talking over me like he had snapped out of a dream. "My wife," he firmly whispered. The man looked to me oddly, but then he smiled a warm smile that was the same as Colt's. "How wonderful to meet you, my dear. You must forgive me, but you are not who I thought would be with my son." "So we've been told more than once. Why would that be?" He looked to the masked man. "Colt, your Majesty." The king put his eyes back to his son. "Colt, so I assume she had you at a horse herd, that wicked, vile dragon, to put her unborn child into so much danger, such a long journey in a horse herd of all places. And yet, my dear, yet you were found there too. You must forgive us, my dear, you are quite a sight to see, and the wife of my son, well, that would not be expected in our wildest dream. We are not meaning to be rude, it's just, well, you shall see. But first, let me ask Colt, have you lived well with them, my son?" You could hear such a happiness in this man. It was overwhelming to hear. "I lived a fine life with the man I call father. He was the great leader of the strongest horse herd, and now it is mine to carry on. As he lives a life of peace that I could give him, I grew strong because of him. I see, there must be so much hate toward one as myself." "Not hate," Colt quickly corrected him. "I just want understanding of your father and your beginnings. I understand more than you would think. I am not one to take a man's pride from him by taking his son from him. Your father that grew you up appears to have done the finest job raising a lion cub of the royal blood. I have taken in many sons and daughters as my own, but they will never be ruler of the land here." "And neither shall I," Colt spoke up. "I understand you have a home that you will return to. Please don't find my words to be against you. Whatever your wish is, it shall be without question. Stay, go as you please." Colt looked to me. "Do the same for my words. I have many questions that I'd like answers to, that I've been seeking out. That is the only reason I am here." "Of course, please follow me. My dear, will you please join us as well? I intend to first show you an answer you both already asked, but it is better to see with your eyes than words from my mouth." Confused, I nodded as we walked past many doors. "This is the left side of the palace. To this side is a lovely garden with the tallest walls. This is where my daughters spend their days. Though they are free to come and go as they please, the walls help protect them from the outside world." "Who would wish to look in on my lovely daughters?" "How many do you have?" I asked. The king smiled slightly. 24, possibly 25. When he opened the door to the garden, the smell of floral hit so strongly, so sweet, of mascaries and lilacs, roses and wild columbine flowers, and I'm sure many more. "Father!" We heard excited voices almost in unison. Girls in flowing pastel dresses came gently up as I nearly fell backwards. They were all different ages, but they were all me. "Another sister, father?" they all questioned excitedly. "No, my daughters. This is your brother's wife. Oh dear, this doesn't sound right leaving my mouth." He slightly laughed. "What I mean to say, daughters, is this is your prince, my blood son. He is married, and this is her." Colt was as confused as me, spoke my name to them. "Vida." "Yes, of course, yes, Vida," the king repeated to them. Then my mouth started to ask a question I wasn't ready for. "What are their names?" I could barely finish asking. The king held the hand of who seemed to be the oldest. She was taller than me by some amount, her skin free of marks, her hair well kept as she smiled softly as the king patted her hands. They all came with the name Vida, but well after the first, I began to give them all new names. It didn't seem appropriate to give them all the same name. "My dear, tell me, do you have a brother by chance?" I trailed off, feeling dizzy. "How many sons do you have?" Colt asked quickly, holding to my back more now. 23 and 1. "Please sit, love. This is much to take in." I stood my ground for a moment. My voice stammered first. Do they all look like Colt?" All the girls giggled softly as the king smiled slightly. "Certainly not, my dear Vida." "Love," I heard Colt say, but my mind was swimming. He helped sit me down. "I don't understand," I whispered, holding my head down to my knees. "No better than I, my dear," the king spoke up. Vita, my daughter, take your sister and go cook up a feast for tonight. I looked up for a moment before I realized he wasn't talking to me. Colt sat with me as the king sat himself down slowly. Bring us some water, he clapped, and within moments a man came with some water and cups. The king bid the man off with a sway of his hand as the man wished to have poured the cups, as the king poured the water himself, letting out a sigh. Here, my dear, you have had a journey. Perhaps I should have waited, but at the same time I didn't want you to leave abruptly and not know, and it seemed to be on all our minds one way or another. Perhaps you and I can understand together where they came from. Colt's teeth gritted. Harltzland. The king's eyes flared just like Colt's, his lip curling. You have no need to fear that beast in my kingdom. I had heard that a land was taken over, though I never thought it to be more than a rumor. After some water and some deep breaths, I collected myself. My thoughts were rushing through my head, still making me feel like I was drowning. I looked around at the garden. Where are? The king, seeming to read my mind, interrupted my question. They are about. I'm sure you met some on the bridge here. I'm surprised you didn't recognize them as your brother. Colt took a large drink of water before speaking. Our brother, he was raised as my brother. He is much younger than her, and he lives a distance from us now with his own herd, Colt answered how I wanted to. I see. Well, now that you know the truth, you will see them around as we tour the kingdom, perhaps. I see you already have a cub by your side and a liger at that. Only the finest, most trusted here obtain a lion of their own to join with. I know little of the horse herds, but I assume it's different there. Colt nodded. Much different, but I still have questions. What is a runner? The people here seem to not care for them, and I know they look like my wife as well. Do your daughters try to escape? And where is your lion, then? Colt asked. The king smiled. Let me answer your first question. His face became more serious. As I spoke before, my daughters can come and go as they please. They all stay on with their own free will, but runners are a different matter. We do not know where they come from, but there are machines that try to cross the bridge that look like my daughters. These machines run as far as they can get before they shut down toward the middle of the bridge. At first, it was much less, but now they make it to midpoint, then they shut off. We carry them back to the entrance of the bridge and rip them into pieces, burning all that is in the pile till it's a melted mess. We have lost some of our finest warriors to guarding the bridge from them. But they seem to only kill if they are confronted with force, so for many years we just let them run, so they are called runners. But there is no hate toward you, Vita. As for the lions, did you see the ones upon the bridge? No, Colt said. Did you feel their presence? No. I wouldn't expect you to. After all, you were not raised to know it. You see, we don't rely on them for protection. They are there as a last defense, for the day a runner makes it across. They are not tied to us by ropes or chains, but our souls are bound to each other's, but their bodies are free to roam. That was why horses were being moved then, I said. Yes, here in the kingdom, the only ones who eat of flesh is our counterparts, and though we hunt together sometimes, their appetites outrule our common senses. I see we are not planning on staying long here, though I do need to know about my blood, Colt said in a firm voice. The king, still seated, pressed his upper weight toward one crossed leg. Your blood? You carry our blood, though not as pure as that dragon of a woman. Oh, how she had me twisted around her finger. I couldn't see her betrayals. I believed her stories of distress. I would not give in to her request to be mated to her. I saw her as a lost child, though a woman she was. I had just lost my love not long before she arrived in our kingdom, though now we believe she had a hand in that as well. I am old even then. My love and I had no children that survived beyond birth, though we longed for a child to hold together. But I didn't want to see her hurt, so we found a peace in one another. Then one night she was found, gone. She was given to me, but oh, how we loved one another. She would not have killed herself for nothing. After I lost my love, I simply wanted to live out my life alone and let a new king be chosen. And let the bloodline come to an end. There were many begging for me to remarry, but I would not bed with another woman willingly, and as king, my decision was accepted. But one night I was spirited in my drinks, my heart of sorrow. It was wrong of me, but even a king is human, and with her vile ways led me to my chambers. Of all things, wearing my wife's dress and perfume, the state I was in, I didn't want to question the return of my wife. By morning, I was enraged with her deeds that night. I ripped the room to pieces, but the deed had already come to pass, so forgiveness was given to her, and a marriage was given, though my stomach and heart were sickened. By even being near her, and for a while, the kingdom was happy with the quick news she was with child. Gifts were given, celebrations created, dreams of a son came to the elders, all was in place for the new king. I did find joy in this knowledge, for who can blame a child for its parents' sins, and for a short time I believed perhaps we could get along. But she had little patience for this idea of a prince being born and not a king, and a day came when she tried to take my life. I would not harm her, only to protect the child she carried. She knew this. After word spread, many wished her killed, and I knew to imprison her, she would harm you, or someone would take her life for my blood she spilt. So I allowed her to escape under her own power to make the illusion persist, so you would be safe. My prayers went with you that she would return with you in hand demanding your birthright, but alas, that was not the case. We asked about, but no one had seen such a woman as her for many years. Then how do you know who I am? Just by my appearance, many things can't be trusted, including what you see in front of you, as you seem to already know. What if I was a runner you speak of? Well, yes, your appearance is quite a giveaway of who you are born to, as well as how I imagined you may look. In my eyes, I see myself. I am blinded to the little you look like her, though I cannot deny she gave you an elegance that is not within me. You could be, as you say, someone who appears to be who I wish, but in truth only seek my death, but I shall stay on the side of compassion and my deep wishes. My lion hasn't come for you, so that is also in your favor. In all the honesty of my heart, I would kill the beast if it would have even suggested it. Colt smiled slightly. You would not have needed to. The king snickered back. They were so much alike, the smirks were identical. The king stopped in all of a pause. Do you mind if I see your cub? Colt looked over to Sam. In truth, he's not mine to own, but he travels with us of his own free will. If he likes you, he will come to you. The king put out his hand, Sam still not talking, gently sniffed the king's hand, then put his head up, forcing the king into petting his head. Well then, you are a friendly one. And what a pattern! Clearly not all lion, most definitely a liger of some sort, but still fitting. He shall become larger than a lion. Can you talk, little one? Sam looked to Colt, who nodded. When I want to. Ah, so you are one of those. I expected as much. Well then, you are welcome here in my kingdom. The lions here, some talk, some don't, so you will have to find your place among them while you are here. Why don't you go find the other cubs to play with? I'm sure you will like that. Again, Sam looked to Colt, but I spoke. Go on, go play, make some friends, just don't go and make any trouble. Sam nodded. The king pointed a direction. Go into the greenery there, you will find them. I knew that already, Sam purred as the king gave him one last pat, as I reminded Sam to use manners, then he rushed off into the nearby bushes. He must be a newer, upgraded model. The king looked over to Colt for more answers as he continued to talk. When did you come across him? Not long ago. We know not much on him. Perhaps you could tell us more, since you know more about them, it seems, Colt persuaded back. The king looked up to the sky a moment. Where to even begin? We were always of lions from the very beginning, but some chose other animals of prey. But for the most part, lions. But the populace of the pride began to decline with time, from inbreeding and disease from lack of nutrients. My great-great-great-great-grandfather traveled place to place with his pride and people, and found this small isle of goats and rabbits that was easier to keep up in population. And without the views or bothers of Harlts, but hard times still came naturally, of course. Our lives now are not as hard, but I fear why you see the lions, as I said, started to die out. But a long story. My father's generation and mine, some of our people were captured, some still. But when we found them, they had been transformed, some with memories, some without, some with voices, some with thoughts. We tried to take them from the mechanics, but there was nothing inside to save. Some had human guts, others nothing but bits and pieces of them. The ones who saw their insides would rip themselves apart. Most of the time dying on the spot, so we ended the research. There was no way to undo what had been done. One being my grandfather, They did the most horrible to him. They put him in the skin of a great bear, not one of his lion. When we rescued him, he stayed only a short time back with the pride. And then one day he was gone from all eyes. Right after the pregnancy of your mother was announced, he would have rather not see such a queen come to the kingdom." "A bear, you say?" I asked. "Yes." "One of white fur? Did he have blue eyes? Could he talk?" "Talk? Barely after they were done with him. Few words he managed to keep." "Have you seen him?" "Yes, I believe so." "Really, is he well?" I looked to Colt, who finished. "A great white bear came to the herd many years ago with little speech and madness. We called it the Great Spirit. He was killing but not for food, so in return he too was killed." "I see. Then perhaps it was not him." "Perhaps there's hope for him still. My father was a good man, though we rarely agreed upon things. I hope it will not be this way for us." "Perhaps," Colt replied. "We had not the heart to turn our own people away, so we took them as the lions they were, not what some whisper are their true selves, a completion of their body and soul." But I disagree with this way of thinking. Our soul is our own, but it is still a well-established tradition for many families of the kingdom. Slowly over time, most go mad, and if it was their true selves, this would not be their truth. Colt waited a moment. "I need to speak about my blood. It's of great importance." "Tell me of what you wish to know. I am not quite understanding what you need from me." "The nanos in my blood, is it in your blood as well?" "Nanos, you say? That does not run in the family, though I have heard of them before. This kingdom is without a drop of technology. All except the lion, of course. Everything else was banished under my great-grandfather. I cannot speak for your mother's side. Factually, I have seen it only in those that are being transformed in some way or other. Perhaps your mother with the evil in her. It wouldn't surprise me if she wouldn't have been the one behind it all. And it would best to keep this between us while you are here. It would not be a welcomed finding to the kingdom. Of such things in these walls your words are your own to say and keep, but outside they will be used as others see fit, and I am not without enemies. I do fear you are no closer to the answers you need by coming here, but I might know of a way to find out, though. I don't like the idea of it, not one bit." Colt, seeming to read his mind, whispered out, "Mother? Is that witch still alive?" Colt seemed bothered as he looked to the king. "I am unsure." The king in his wisdom spoke again. "Well, we will let you rest here the night. I will have my boys refresh the horses and pack for the journey to find her. If she still lives, she shall be found. Then when you are ready, you may go." "I'm not one for wasting time. I'd like to leave today." Colt spoke up, but the king stopped him with a grin. "You sound like me when I was your age, but son, let me save you from my mistakes. I could have everything done within moments, but with what you will face, your horses need rest, and you yourself could use a rest and a hot meal. Any time you enter the kingdom, your whim is their duty to fulfill. But it isn't fair to ask this of the people here, so please rest tonight." "Just tonight," Colt re-uttered. The king stood, looking to me, holding out his large hand. "My dear." I took his hand without caution, perhaps because he reminded me so much of Colt. His hand was softer than Colt's, which I wasn't expecting. Colt then stood as the king helped me to my feet. "A lot is to be done." Letting go of my hand, he clapped, and the masked man came swiftly. "Yes, my king." "Have the boys put together 3 travel packs and prepare my traveler." "Yes, my king." Then the man without question left. 3? I asked. The king looked puzzled. "Well, you wouldn't expect me to miss out on this family reunion, would you?" He somewhat laughed.